In the last video, we did unboxing the M4 MacBook Air. In this video, we're going to set it up. Here we have the M4 MacBook Air 15 inches and the M1 13-inch side by side. So we're going to set it up and then migrate the data over. As soon as you fire it up, you get to choose your country. So we can go down there and select your country, in this case, the United States, and then it pops up the Wi-Fi network choice. So select your Wi-Fi network. And then once you've selected that Wi-Fi network, go ahead and enter your password, which I'll do right here. And once we've got that in, we should be able to connect. It pops up the software update. Now you could skip this, but it's good practice to go ahead and want to run it. So if you select it, it starts running. Now this takes a long time, almost an hour. So jump to 1 minute and 5 seconds if you want to skip this section. And you can see that the progress is slow, and there's 6.22 gigs done of 6.24. I've cut pieces out so we can expedite this. And it says still there's 30 minutes remaining. The download's complete now doing the update. And then it restarts or reboots itself. And here we go. And once again, we have to select our country. So we did that earlier, but we still need to do it again. And then continue. And then it takes us to transfer your data to this Mac. So you can transfer your data to this Mac from another Mac, or you can do it through the time machine or a startup disk. Well, for us, we're going to just go ahead and continue with the Mac because we have two Macs. This old M1 Mac that I showed you earlier. Let's just compare the colors briefly. The M1 Mac is a silver color. And then if you look at the larger Mac down there, that's silver compared to this Starlight. There is a subtle difference. Although they both look kind of silvery, you can say that the M1 is silver and the M4 is Starlight. So back to that Wi-Fi connection after you select your country. And once again, we need to log into that Wi-Fi and immediately takes you to a data privacy statement. We'll just continue. And then it says you can transfer information to this Mac using the same Wi-Fi network. But you'll notice that although we are on the same Wi-Fi network with both machines, that continue button doesn't seem to work. Let's flip over here and see whether we can see both machines. There they are, side by side. They're both on the same network, and still I can't quite get them to connect. So this is the first hurdle I ran into. So I've gone ahead and connected the cable now and thinking, all right, well, we can't do it over the Wi-Fi. Let's try and do it over the cable. So now it says create a Mac account. So I'm going to create that Mac account and pop right back. So let me disconnect the cables and set up the Mac account and be back. And we're back. We're signing into the Mac account, and there's a code involved and acceptance of these terms. And it's connecting to the iCloud. And then it offers a number of things. The first thing is whether I want to make this my new Mac. And then it talks about all the other things that are out there on that text body. So we're scrolling down. I'm going to go with everything and say continue. Apple Intelligence, we'll just keep going, continue. A file vault disk encryption where your data is encrypted on your disk. So if someone takes it, purportedly, they can't access it directly without your sign-ons. So let's move forward. And now it's time to do the Touch ID. Now it's doing the Touch ID by touching the touch button on the top right repeatedly for it to get an idea of what our fingerprint looks like. And we're done here. And now it's talking about connecting Apple Pay. And we'll go ahead and do that. Click there. And we'll just block out any proprietary data that might come. Which card do we want to add? And welcome to Mac. So it looks like we're completely done. But what's surprising is that once we bring the data over, it looks like we have to do some of these steps over again. So I've connected the cable to both machines again, and we're saying continue. We're back here, and what we're going to do is going to run an application. Let's press Command Spacebar and type in migration for Migration Assistant. And then it asks you to log in, so blurt out the passwords here. Log in. And Migration Assistant is up and running. And so you can transfer data from your machine, another machine, a time machine, etc. And we know, so let's press continue. And let's go over to the other machine now and run Migration Assistant on that one too. Scoot it over a little bit, and maybe we can pan the camera over as soon as I've got the Migration Assistant running. There it's running on the M1, and it's saying it's looking for something to connect to. And there it is. It says it's connecting to G's MacBook Air. There it is. It's saying it's discoverable as G's MacBook Air. And then on this side here, it's got that opportunity. I'm connecting from a Mac. So I'll hit continue. And at this point, it says G's MacBook Air, and it sends a code over for me to type in. When I type that code in, it connects to the G's MacBook Air. And the process has begun. We can see the bar going back and forth. And there's a count of how many files are coming across. Now, this is a slow process. It might be because I'm not using the right cable. It's USB-C to USB-C. There's a message later on you'll see that says it might be faster using Thunderbolt. And then it pops up on the new machine what information is being transferred, so I can decide to ignore some of them if I want to. I'll just hit continue. And since I have two accounts on the MacBook Air, it's brought them both over. And it wants me to go ahead and enter a password before it will allow me to copy this over. It's a safety measure. So then let's go ahead and select that first one and press the set password, even though it's still calculating. And once we hit that set password, we have an opportunity to log in. So we're logging into the first account. And then the second one. And both are checked now. So we can go ahead and continue. And it says you need to authorize access. So an admin needs to authorize the access. So go in and log in as an admin. And now that's got a check mark. So now we're ready to continue. And the transferring your information process is on this machine too. So now both machines are running. And this process took me 6 hours, a little over 6 hours. So you can jump to 922 to skip this portion, although I'll show you some of the things in between if you'd like. You can see that it says current connection is Ethernet. Connecting to a Thunderbolt cable may transfer the data faster. So something about my USB-C makes it look like something about my USB-C makes it look like an Ethernet cable. It says 102,723 items have been processed thus far. And on the other side, it says 3 files have been transferred. So it's a little confusing as to what's exactly happening. Still, I thought I'd let it run and come back and see how it performs. And now it says transferred 126,122 files in about 6 hours and 6 hours and 5 minutes remaining, 6 hours and 54 minutes remaining, 5 hours and 43 minutes remaining. So it bounces back and forth based upon the throughput of the data. Now it says 2 hours and 11 minutes remaining, and then we're at migration completed. So now let's say done, and we're back in the main screen to log in. So at this point, the migration should be complete, and all the files in the setup should be identical on both machines. So let's log in, a couple of messages, and sign into the Apple account. Little code to type in. and then it logs into iCloud. Now, once again, it's time to do the Touch ID. I'm not sure why we're doing it a second time. It might be because we've replicated that Mac M1 onto this new machine, so it's a separate instance again. So then we touch that keypad to get the finger recognition logged in, and we can see on the bottom right when it's done, it says I'm done. Now we can go ahead and continue. So let's click that continue, and it's a welcome to the Mac again. And one more time, continue. And this time, when we look at it, it looks pretty much the same as the M1. There are two files or folders on the screen, and it's exactly the same on the other one. A slight format difference, but it's the same thing. That's the M1 that you're looking at, and that's the M4. Now let's compare the two machines. This is the M4 on the left. It's the starlight color, and that's the M1 13-inch. The M4 is 15-inch. You can see that when you look at the width of it here, that the M4 is a little wider, keeping that as a 15-inch screen versus the 13-inch screen. Also, the trackpads are a different size. It's a little larger on the M4 15-inch. The one on the M1 is perfectly adequate, but it's nicer to have the extra real estate if you don't mind the machine being a little larger. Both machines are really wonderful from a touchpad perspective. They work well and they're very effective. Now, the space for the touchpad obviously is different too. Now, we just align these as best as we can to get a comparative look at these two machines. We can see that the entire space sizing for the keyboards is slightly different. And then if you look down at the thickness, they look identical, although the M1 has a curved design to it. The M4 is a squarish design. Both machines are wonderful, and I hope you found it helpful to see the setup and the comparison of the two machines. Thank you so much for watching.